So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this. The GoPro battery went dead, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the trick about cutting around here. And I'm probably not going to cut all the way down. I don't know. I'm going to cut down about right here, so maybe around the corner. Is not to cut it too close. So you want to be about 3/4 of an inch away. 1/2 inch is a little bit short, but it'll work. 3/4 of an inch away, and just cut it around. Yeah, it's okay right there. Maybe a little bit further. 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch. You got to be a little bit further than what you think, and not too far. That's perfect. So if you want to, you can mark it all the way around, because if you cut it too short or too far, is not as bad as too short, you can actually correct it with this headliner. You could correct it pretty easily. Let me get my other scissors. In a second here, I'm gonna pop. So this is where it pays to have those really good scissors. I'm telling you guys, you gotta bite the bullet and get these long ones. The nice long wee scissors. And I'm telling you, before when I had them, I thought, oh, this isn't so bad, and then especially when you start to cut carpet and stuff like that, oh man. Yeah, I do my own carpet, everything. So I'm going to use my scissors at this point. Okay. Well, this is tricky with the camera. I'm trying to do this at the same time. I gave up last time when I was starting to do a headliner video, and it was just too hard, so I gave up. But I thought, you know what, I just gotta tough it out, do one so you guys can learn this stuff. Okay, so then you have nice long scissors and you do your slits around the corners. You want a nice about 1 inch slits. Sharpen these bad boys. Got too much carpet with them. Gotta get them sharpened every once in a while. Or sharpen. Oh, what the hell? Still doesn't cover again. So around the bottom, you cut right here, about 1 inch. All right, so then I'm going to get my roll of tape. So I'm going to tape all the way around, just because every once in a while these things get a wild hair, these spray cans, and make a big mess. It just squirts the wrong way. I don't want to get it all over the paint. Mask it all off real quick. A piece of tape. The other thing I don't like is I was thinking ahead. I should have done this before I cut it, because I don't like this stuff blowing inside. And pick off my little thing off the front of here and spray it as even as you can around here. This time you're not worried about the cosmetics too much, so you can flip it over a little bit. You don't care if it bleeds, goes through the mohair. It is such thin cloth that it will. Must have missed that spot. Okay. Yeah, then flip it up so you can get a little bit of that on to the, make sure there's stuff on the mohair and on the other surface. It's really hard to get it on both surfaces here, so usually I'll, even on the regular headliner, I'll just flip it up and then let it kind of get wet and then fall back down. So you put it on like that all the way around. Same thing you're going to do all the way around this thing. Now, the great thing I'm noticing is the mohair, it kind of soaks into the cloth when it comes to this portion. So it's actually kind of cool. You want to have some lacquer thinner handy, or some acetone, or some gun cleaner is even better. It's a little bit slower. Spray gun cleaner to clean your hands off, because every time you do this, you're going to have sticky hands. You could wear gloves if you really want to, but I don't know, I'm just not a real big fan of gloves. So, and then at this point, this is where you need the binder clips, especially when you're doing a regular headliner. You're going to need binder clips all the way around. I mean, you're going to get about dollar store, they have them at Dollar Tree, super cheap. Put these things all the way around. And I used to do, remember back in the old days, I used those old clothespins, old wooden clothespins. That's what we used for everything. It was way more work. I mean, they wouldn't hold anything. And then the glue was really good back then. I remember guys going, oh yeah, you brush it on if you don't have a sprayer. But man, that sucks. Trying to brush it, by the time you get done brushing it, it's too dry. There's a happy medium in there of how dry you need the glue. You need it pretty dry, but if it's too dry, then what happens is it just doesn't stick at all. So then you have to re-wet it. Put one up here. Usually up here is where you have the most amount of problem, because on the regular headliner, because you're pulling it, so you don't have that problem with this mohair, because it's so many pieces. The pieces are harder than some of these. So put your clips on all the way around. This is going to be a long video. Some of you guys are going to get bored, go to sleep, wake back up, still be watching it. That's all right. So anyway, you'll learn how to do your headliner if you watch this thing a few times. So anyway, that's the process basically all the way around. I'm going to show you guys more about this on the next portion. So back inside the car. So I don't know if you can see this side, but you think you can this corner. From the corner, just take this out of here for a second. From the corner right here, okay, to about right up here is where you're going to have your seam. So you need to cut it a bit over from the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on this side with one hand. It needs to be far enough over where you can overlap it. I have to do this with two hands. This cloth is just too delicate. rules. I have to do this right. You do this part wrong, you're going to be buying a new mohair headliner. Okay, so that's how you do it right there. So from right here to here, in this corner, now I should have this piece should be just about free. Yep. So that's where you want. So what you want to do now is glue that section. Well, you guys are looking at the ground. So you need to glue both corners back down. So flip these up. Don't need a lot of glue for this part. I'm going to glue this side too. So this holds down in place so it doesn't pull back up. And this portion you're not going to see, so if there's finger marks going through the glue, you're pretty okay. The other part, no, you got to have that tucked in clean. So my seam's going to go from this corner right up there. That's going to be a little bit difficult because you want to fold that cloth, and with the sometimes it helps to blow on that glue a little bit, get it to dry so you can work with it. Make sure you're not. Really good tool for this part, it's a putty knife. So and then you need to cut. Let's see if I can get this camera up here so you guys can see what the heck I'm doing. Let's see here. Let me pause this thing for a second. Well, now it's a little bit in my way, but I think I can work around it. So you got to cut the same thing. You need material to be underneath here a little bit. So you're going to cut here so you can shove this corner in and tuck all this top in. I don't know if you can even see it. My hands are. And I'm going to cut down right here so that when we crimp this back down, when we crimp that back down, I'm going to put the other piece in that goes this way, and then we're going to run that direction. Once I get, I'll go ahead and put this piece in still, the piece around the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to re-wet this glue here real quick. It's hard to do with the camera. You're already back in a hole back here. So re-wet the glue. Go ahead and pull this back off. Then we're going to set that cloth back in place up here. Remember, you start in the middle and work your way out always. Let's see if I can get this thing. All right, so had this figured out a second ago. Yeah, it's this side up. There we go. So slide it up a little bit. Remember, I was showing you earlier that you could move it up a little bit, and that would be all right. So I had that laid straight. Hopefully you can see that. Move it down a little bit. Yeah, I have it straight across the bottom. That's the key thing. Don't even need to glue down the bottom yet. Okay, you want this to be nice and even, and then you cut your angle. So you're going to cut this thing way past where you want to fold it, way up here in the corner. Same thing on both sides. me show you that. Close up. So you're going to cut an angle way up here above where you're going to fold it. You're going to fold it into the position you want, and you're going to glue it before you pull it tight. So this is just going to be pulled tight like that. Once I get the glue here, I'll flip it up. I'm going to put a bead of glue. I'm going to go ahead and put some tape right across here. Put a bead of glue on there, and then tape that down. Yeah, the bummer is you have to always wait for that glue to dry right now. If you put it down too early, you're going to have it bleed right through like this, and it doesn't look very good. So that's what we're trying to avoid. So I always have waiting time. So I'm going to get that thing down there from the center out, and then I'm going to cut the corners in and fold it. But just make sure you have it, you cut it far enough out so that you can fold it and it comes right to where you want it to be. It's a little tricky, but I think you guys can do it. So I had to have two hands to do this part. I couldn't get a video of it, but you start in the middle, work your way out, and if you can see there's a little wrinkle along here. One of the ways to get rid of those is at the end. I'm going to try and pull it tight when I do the corners, and that should get rid of it, no problem. But if you do happen to have something like that, I believe the method for this cloth is, I know it is for other ones, is to get it wet and then dry it. The heat, when you dry it, it sucks the moisture out of it. So, and that makes your makes it dry. So anyway, I'm gonna have to fold these corners and do this in, and probably with the video off, and then just show you the result on the next video. And so what I did is I trimmed this back a bit. I'm going to shove it in here. Might have to trim it a little bit more. I got to get the other piece out and check it out first. I cut this in so there's, you know, very little wrinkle there. Probably could easily clean that up. Got a little bit of glue on here, but I believe I can just go ahead and use some acetone and that'll come right off. Didn't get this pulled much tighter. But you notice I didn't put anything down underneath here. If you put something down underneath there, it's probably just going to fluff up and not look good. So the other thing you can do is pull a little bit tighter here. You can use a heat gun and a blow dryer, stuff like that. Just take another piece of cloth and get it wet and try a sample and see what happens. That's what I'm going to do myself before I go ahead and try it on the headliner. But this section is just about done. I'm just going to go ahead and tuck the back, do the same thing I did here. It's all the same stuff over and over. And I'll go ahead and put the binder clips on it. Let that dry overnight. Then I'm going to finish this up tomorrow. Most of the headliner will be done tomorrow.